Well, I look at the second accuser. The second accuser has nothing. The second accuser doesn't even know. She thinks maybe it could have been him, maybe not. She admits that she was drunk.
President Trump slamming Brett Kavanaugh's second accuser. Now a third accuser has been identified ahead of tomorrow's hearing.
I'll be meeting with Chairman Kim in the very near future. It'll be announced.
The whole world is watching at the United Nations. President Trump touts progress on North Korea and accuses China of meddling in the upcoming midterm elections. Plus, Google admits that it made mistakes when it comes to protecting your data. Details on today's tech testimony that's ahead. CBSN starts now. Hi, everyone. I'm Rena Ninen. Thank you for joining us. A third woman is now leveling damaging accusations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Her name is Julie Swetnick, and she's represented by attorney Michael Avenatti of Stormy Daniels fame. Swetnick claims that Kavanaugh was present while she herself was being gang raped at a house party in the 1980s. The detail includes and is included in Kavanaugh's sworn affidavit, in Avenatti's sworn affidavit that Julie Swetnick gave. In it, she says, in approximately 1982, I became the victim of one of these gang or train rapes where Mark Judge, and Brett Kavanaugh were present. Shortly after the incident, I shared what had transpired with at least two other people. During the incident, I was incapacitated without my consent, unable to fight off the boys raping me. I believe I was drugged, using Quaaludes or something similar placed in what I was drinking. She also says, quote, I also witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented so they could then be gang raped or in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. I have a firm recollection of seeing boys lined up outside rooms at many of these parties waiting for their turn with the girl inside the room. These boys include Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh. Here's President Trump's reaction on Twitter. Avenatti is a third-rate lawyer who is good at making false accusations like he did on me and like he is now doing on Judge Brett Kavanaugh. He's just looking for attention and doesn't want people to look at his past record and relationships. A total lowlife. Well, Kavanaugh was asked about these claims on Monday before the details were made public. Here's what he said.
Did you ever participate in, or were you ever aware of any gang rape that happened at a party that you attended?
That's totally false and outrageous. Never done any such thing, known about any such thing.
Well, this comes as the all-male Republican members of the Senate Judiciary Committee announced the name of the Arizona-based prosecutor who will question Kavanaugh and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford at tomorrow's hearing. The committee describes Rachel Mitchell as a career prosecutor with decades of experience prosecuting sex crimes. The committee plans to vote on Kavanaugh's nomination Friday. It's not clear if Kavanaugh's other accusers will have a chance to speak before then. Earlier this afternoon, Republican Senator Jeff Flake took a shot at President Trump while addressing the Kavanaugh controversy from the Senate floor.
What I do know is that I don't believe that Dr. Ford is part of some vast conspiracy from start to finish to smear Judge Kavanaugh, as has been alleged by some on the right. And I do know that I do not believe that Judge Kavanaugh is some kind of serial sexual predator, as some have alleged on the left. I must also say that separate and apart from this nomination and the facts that pertain to it, I do not believe that the claim of sexual assault is invalid because a 15-year-old girl didn't promptly report the assault to authorities, as the President of the United States said just 2 days ago. How uninformed and uncaring do we have to be to say things like that, much less believe them?
On Capitol Hill, we're joined by Scott Wong, senior staff writer for The Hill. Okay, Scott, so do these accusations risk delaying tomorrow's hearing? Do you think they set it back? What are you hearing from Republicans on the Hill?
Well, Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley says things are full speed ahead. He is not deterred. He is still planning to hear from both Professor Ford and Judge Kavanaugh on the first round of accusations against Judge Kavanaugh. Republicans want to move this forward as quickly as possible. They've scheduled a vote in committee on Friday and a full vote of the United States Senate for next Tuesday, because they feel like the longer this hangs out there, the more chance there is for additional accusations to come forward. As you just reported, we have the third woman coming forward today alleging some very serious things. And so Republicans don't want this hanging out there much longer.
I want to read you something from Julie Swetnick, that third accuser you're talking about. And she writes here, there is no question in my mind that Mark Judge has significant information concerning the conduct of Brett Kavanaugh in the 1980s, especially as it relates to his actions toward women. We know that Judge has previously said he doesn't want to testify. He denies being in the room during those assaults that Dr. Ford alleges. Do you think that he might now potentially be subpoenaed and forced to testify?
Well, only Republicans can control the chamber, and they control the Judiciary Committee. Democrats who want Judge to come before the committee really are powerless in this case. And so unless public sentiment shifts or unless something else comes out of these hearings on Thursday that we don't know about, as far as I can tell, Mark Judge is not going to be coming before this committee. He is, as the Washington Post reported earlier this week, holed up in a beach house in Delaware. He's trying to get away from the media circus and all of the attention. And so right now, as it stands, we will not be hearing from Mark Judge, but this story is rapidly evolving and anything can change.
Even before any of these accusations came forward, we were watching pretty closely how Senator Collins and Senator Murkowski might vote on that. We know that Murkowski, obviously both of them key Republicans in this vote, said that an independent FBI investigation could clear things up. This is what Murkowski has said. Is that something that could now gain traction because of this third accuser? We know Republicans weren't behind this, but do you think that might change?
Well, we are asking that very question to Republican senators as we speak. Reporters in the Capitol are staking out every corner of the Capitol, trying to figure out if this third accuser changes the dynamic somehow, or if Kavanaugh plans to withdraw his nomination. So far, Kavanaugh is fighting it. He's saying he denies all of the allegations from the three women. He is saying he actually does not even know this third woman. But the third accuser has put forth some very specific information. She described attending at least 10 parties with Kavanaugh and Mark Judge with very graphic allegations of the activity that was taking place at this party. And while she does not say that Mark Judge and Kavanaugh specifically committed a crime against her, a sex assault crime against her, she is insinuating that they were doing nothing to stop it, when she, in fact, claims she was gang raped by people at this party.
Incredibly serious allegations. I mean, I just don't know exactly where this heads. But, you know, Mitch McConnell, from the very beginning, has been with a series of other Republican senators who have said the timing of this just reeks horribly from the very beginning on this. Is there traction on Capitol Hill? Are they concerned about this, their nomination? Do you get that sense from them? Or do they feel that this is just political? Is that how they're parsing this?
That is how they're portraying it, that this is simply a political attack designed at the last minute, the 11th hour, to take down their Supreme Court nomination. However, I think, you know, Democrats will say there is now a pattern of behavior by Judge Kavanaugh if you believe the accounts of these three women. Now, Republicans were saying when Christine Blasey Ford first stepped forward that this is just one woman's allegations, that it was unsubstantiated and not confirmed and not corroborated by any other parties. And where are the other women? Well, now two other women have stepped forward with similar stories of sexual assault or inappropriate sexual behavior, and Democrats are now saying, look, here is your pattern.
Yeah, I want to ask you before you go, Scott, about Thursday's hearing. What do we know about Rachel Mitchell, the Arizona prosecutor who's chosen to do the questioning tomorrow? We know D.C. has plenty of prosecutors. Why was she chosen for this?
Well, she's somebody who has decades of experience. She's a prosecutor in Maricopa County, in Phoenix, really the largest county and most populous county in Arizona. She has praise from Democrats, including Janet Napolitano, the former governor and DHS secretary of Arizona, and by Terry Goddard, the former attorney general of Arizona. Both have praised her in the past and given her awards. She's a specialist in sex crimes with, as I mentioned before, years and years and decades of experience. So Republicans were looking for an outsider, somebody that wasn't perhaps tied to Washington and to this political mess that has evolved over the last few weeks. And so it'll be interesting to see the types of questions that she brings forward tomorrow at the hearing.
Absolutely. We'll be covering it live tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Scott Wong, I want to thank you very much for joining us, Scott.
Thanks so much.